we got sent perhaps one of the most popular cameras of this year so far. And it all starts here on top of Cardiff, quite literally. Is it that good? Well, let's find out, shall we? With a whole suite of new and improved features, including a 40.2 megapixel APS-C size sensor, 5-axis image stabilization, a new processor, a more advanced AF system, has 6.2K video at 10-bit 422, a base ISO of 125. It's a camera which has garnered a lot of attention. You can see why. And it's gorgeous. The 23mm f2 comes from the previous iterations of the camera. You got the autofocus switch here that allows you to switch between continuous and single shot autofocus. Then you got a beautiful screen that comes out that allows you to get shots from up high and down low. The actual ergonomics of the camera are simple, minimalistic, and really designed to work around you as a shooter. So it is designed to be very filmic in its internal makeup, and nothing says that more than the actual switches at the top that allow you to change the ISO as well as the shutter speed. And then you've also got your metering dial there as well. You got your hybrid viewfinder and the battery that comes in the bottom there, where the SD card also goes in as well. The camera feels excellent in my hands and can't wait to shoot with it. With this camera, I wanted to do 3 things with it. 1, shoot at TPS. 2, shoot a model to see if I can use it in a professional capacity. And then 3, out on the streets, what is it like to be a documentary photographer and just enjoy photography as an experience, testing photo, video, and well, everything in between. By now you've probably watched about 1,000 videos on the X100 VI, and at this rate you're just looking through some more to see if you want to get it or not. The X100 VI is a special camera for many reasons, and if I'm honest, when it comes to me as a professional shooter and just somebody that does photo and video, it's one of those things that I view as very much a really cool sidekick camera. It's never going to take the place of a main camera, but Chase Jarvis famously said that the best camera you have is the one that you have on you. And when it comes to the X100 VI, it's a camera that you know you're most likely going to be taking pretty much every day. So although I say it's a sidekick camera, it's actually a camera which can do a lot for you just by flexing that creative muscle and really just enjoying the art form of photography. And that's really what it's all about. I have always loved this location in Cardiff. It's not particularly special. In fact, it's an old ruin from a church that used to be here. The reason why I love it is because it's very much a blank canvas. You can put whatever you want to on that particular area. It's a camera that you can just simply enjoy. And it really makes you think about the reason why you liked photography or why you love photography. This building right behind me is where I went to after university. It's a traveller's hostel. It links me to the thing that I love. And it's a building that is, yes, no longer the hostel in which I worked at, but it's a part of the story. And I think that's something Fujifilm really understand when it comes to the X100 series, is photography is very much a story. It's something we have grown up with throughout our lifetime, and connecting that home to perhaps something special, you know, retro feeling camera that feels right in the hand, that reminds you of where you've come from and allows you to consider where you're going to be going. I managed to grab a couple of the guys at TPS on the Fuji stand to talk a little bit more about the X100.
There's a lot of things about the X100 series that make it unique versus anything else in the marketplace. First, the styling. I think the design is just gorgeous, really. I mean, its retro look just appeals to everyone, old and new. The other important thing about the X100 VI is that it is a compact camera fixed lens that will appeal to anyone from any system. So if somebody is using a mirrorless camera or a DSLR from someone else, the X100 VI can still appeal to them because they don't have to buy into a completely new system. And then the last thing, the most important thing, is the feel you get from using the camera. And that is in part the images out of the camera straight away. And with our heritage and our know-how in terms of color science, you get that filmic look straight out of camera. So most people using this will be using it as a secondary camera or for holidays or travel or something like that, where they don't want to think and they don't want to work. So that's what we think is the main reason why the X100 VI has been so successful.
Yeah.
Beautiful Fujifilm colors that you don't get in any other system. The X-Trans sensor just gives you the colors that are to die for. You can shoot in JPEG, don't do anything to your pigments.
Cool, you
It looks
mean.
amazing.
The film simulations for the X100 are awesome, and for the most part I shot the majority of what I shot for this video in the new one, which is the Reala Ace. The menu system for the X100 is perhaps one of my favourite menu systems I've used to date, being fairly easy to navigate and quick to get where you want to, and that's what this camera is really all about. Got a camera which is, yes, a prime, it's APS-C, but it has exceptional video quality as well as amazing photo quality. For those people that don't necessarily want to be shooting BTS photos on their main camera, this one can do that really well. And well, it's a documentarian's camera at the end of the day. I gotta say, I am loving the camera as a whole. And something to be said about Fuji cameras in general is the fact they actually have a lot more soul to them. Yeah. A few cameras these days that really have defined an era. When you think about today, most of the technology is about AI this, AI that. This camera kind of defines all of that and becomes a monument to history, yes, but it also has in it the possibility of what can come in the future. The only thing I feel like didn't necessarily work perfect every time was the autofocus. It was spot on pretty much all the time, but there were moments where it just dipped in and out of focus, decided to focus on something I didn't want it to, and it was easily rectified, but I did have a few issues with it. It's not massively different compared to the X100 VI, and it doesn't really need to be. Fujifilm have really nailed their user interface of this camera, of this series of cameras. So in that retrospect, it didn't need much changing. The thing they have changed is the IBIS, which allows you to actually get slower shutter shots handheld. And it's something I got to test out. And we come back to this shot from the start. This photo would have been hard to get on the original X100s, and it's one of my favourite photos that I took today. If you really think about every photograph that you've ever taken, what was special about it to you? Now, this entire video has really felt like a bunch of pretentious garbage, and I get that. I really get that, and maybe in that retrospect I am pretentious myself. But what I love about this camera is it really understands, and its core values, what it means to be a photographer and enjoy doing it. It's a powerful little unit, and with that you've got the reliability, the beautiful color science that Fuji have just inside of the camera, and it takes away the hassle of being in front of technology all the time. So, is the camera good? It is good. This camera takes a lot of the steps that you would otherwise find boring or way too much and simplifies it. Makes it easier and makes it a whole lot more fun. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, follow and subscribe. And if you want to see more, click here and you'll be able to go through to our X100 to X100 VI comparison video, which you may or may not find interesting. I don't know. Have a good day.